Hey guys, it's Julia here, and today we're going to be making a blanket that we're going to arm knit. Super cool. Okay, great. You may notice that my hair is brown now, and it used to be blonde. That's because blondes have more fun, and I don't like fun. So just thought I'd let you know. Okay, cool. So before we start, you want to make sure you have all your materials gathered. I've got this beautiful number 6 bulky yarn. Ideally, you actually want bulkier than this, but we were just out of stock. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to double up my yarn to make it bulkier. And it'll kind of give like a cool doubled up look to it. I like that, but I would actually recommend just buying the full size yarn. So like the enormous, bulky, the really, really gigantic, chunky ones. So all you need to arm knit is your yarn, scissors, and your arms. Quick pointer before we start, you always want to trim your nails because you might scratch yourself, and go pee because once you start, you literally can't stop until it's done. Okay? Alright guys, so we're going to start, and like I said, I'm using 2 strands as one, just because my strand isn't as bulky as I'd like it. You want a really thick yarn because the holes are going to be really thick because you're using your arm. So if your yarn's too thin, your blanket's just going to have a lot of holes in it. Okay, so the first thing we do, step 1 to arm knitting and to any knitting, is to cast on. So first thing you're going to do 1, 2, 3, arm's length, pull it down. And then you're going to make a slip knot, okay? So slip knot's really easy. You make a loop, you twist it, you grab the bottom, and you pull it through. That's a slip knot. I'll show you again, okay? And it just slips right out, hence it's called a slip knot. Okay, so loop, twist it, grab the bottom, pull it through. Okay, so the slip knot is our first cast on. And you put that slip knot over your arm, and you pull it so that it's not loose, but you don't want to pull it too tight, because if you pull it too tight, it's going to be like stuck on your arm, and you won't actually be able to arm knit. Okay, so now we have 2 pieces of yarn hanging down. One is attached to the ball, and that's going to be called our working yarn, and the other one is loose, and that's going to be called our tail. So we're going to cast on. The easiest way to do this is to grab them both and put your index finger through, and then I stick my thumb around and make a gun. And then you just pull the gun down. That's the easiest way to do that. So you see how you have a gun and you've got the thread going around your thumb and around your index finger, and you pull it down. Then all you're going to do is you're going to go under the one at your thumb, over the working yarn, and through. Let's do that again. Under the gun, over the working, through. Under, over, through. And again, don't pull too tight. Under, over, through. Okay guys, so as you can see, I've cast onto my arm. I've got 20 stitches here. I've got a short arm, so 20 is kind of the max. But this is a throw blanket, so 20 is perfect. If you were making a larger blanket, you would want to do more. But this is a throw. So now we're done casting on. This is the easy part. So our tail, we can forget about it now. So I'm just going to throw my tail to the side so I don't even think about it. Okay? So now we're only using our working yarn. And this is the easy part. So you hold the working yarn in your hand, you pull that first stitch over, and you create a loop. And then all you're going to do is put your hand through the loop and pull it onto your other arm. And then you just kind of gently pull it, not snug, but just so it's not super loose. And that's it. So again, we're holding the working yarn, pull the loop over, create that new loop, put the hand through, pull it down. Working yarn in the hand, right hand, pull that stitch over, create that loop, put your hand through, pull it down. And we're going to do this until every single one is off of my right arm and onto my left arm. Okay, guys, so as you can see, I've moved everything from my right hand over to my left hand. And down here, we've got the first layer of the throw. So we're done. And now all we have to do is switch everything back. So we're gonna get everything on our left hand back onto our right hand. And that's how we knit. We're gonna do that back and forth until we have the body of the blanket. So to do that, again, you take the working yarn. Now you take it in your left hand. You pull that first stitch off, create the loop, put your arm through. Loop through. It's so easy. And the nice thing is you can do this blanket in like an afternoon. You know, put on a couple episodes of The Office, and then you have a blanket. So I'm going to continue doing this basically until I run out of yarn. I have 8 skeins of yarn to make this blanket from. And so I'll come back once we get close to the end and I'll show you how to bind off. Okay? Cool. All right. Okay. So as you can see, my blanket's really coming along. And I am running out of yarn on this working yarn, so I'm gonna tie it on to my new ball. But I just wanted to show you, because sometimes it can be confusing when you get a ball of yarn. If you're looking for the end, it's always tucked into like this little hole in the ball, if you will. So that's the end. So that's how you find it. And then I thought I would just show you how to tie the ends together. It's really simple. You literally just tie a knot. And then when we're done this blanket, we're gonna go back in and cut, like trim these. But right now, that's all you have to do. Super simple. So as you can see, we're really almost done the blanket here. It's pretty tall, which is awesome. That's what we want. So what I'm gonna show you now is how to bind off. So I've still got a good amount of my working yarn left, and you're going to do very similar to how you were knitting. You're holding it, the working yarn, in the hand that the casts are on, and you're going to pull it over onto the other arm, and then you're going to do it once more. So you put 2, and then what you do is you pull the back one over the top one and off. And now you want to tighten it slightly. If you make it too tight, the end of your blanket will be shorter than the top end, and that's going to be weird. So you don't want to pull it too tight, but you don't want it to be too loose either. So I just gently tightened it. And now we're going to do the same thing. Pull that other loop here, pull the back one over and off. And again, just slightly tighten. Over, pull the back one over top and off. And the last one, you're going to pull it over, and then you're going to make a slip knot once more, pull it tight, and then you can just pull the end all the way through. And you have cast off the end of your blanket. And then with this end, you can weave it back in really simply. That'll just make it less likely to unravel. So to weave it, I just go into the bind and gently weave it through back and forth. And when you're done weaving it through back and forth, you can just cut any excess. Almost done weaving my ends in. I'm just going to finish this last little bit and tuck the tail in. And then I'm going to go around and remember the tail from the very beginning on the other end. I'm going to do the same thing with that so that it's also tucked in. And then we also need to hide our knots. So remember the knots we tied when we were tying the two ends together? You're just going to take your scissors and trim close, but not too close to the knot. And then you just kind of tuck it in, and it's like it was never even there. So I'm just going to go through and find all my knots, and again, cut it close, but not too close. And then I'm going to tuck it in, and it's like it was never there. And guess what, guys? Once you've done all that, you've got yourself a super beautiful throw blanket. Bye!